Hello everybody, welcome to the TraderMerlin Show for your Thursday afternoon edition. Welcome everybody. Yes, the FAANG stocks are all done. That'll be part of the discussion today, Tom, is getting rid of Facebook and Netflix and some of these other ones. But hello, Siraj, Batista, we got Fernando Catut, Aiden, Tomasina, Big Ab. We got Alex in here as well. Man, the regular crew, Sue, Terry, Rob, Big Ab. It is a nice bounce going on in the S&P, and I'm very glad that I got out of my my Snapchat puts. We'll look at Snapchat here in a little bit as it's getting a sympathy pop because of what's happening in the after-hour session today, but very interesting seeing how much that one, 50% gain for Snapchat, and I'm out of my shorts. Loving that one. Skilled Stocksman, Les, Gary, David Rostakor, and Eric. Good to see y'all at Giselle as well. Not to forget Lori and Lisa. Man, I'm going to get the Romper Room magnifying glass so I can do that every single day. Anyway, welcome to the show. If you guys have any comments, questions, feedback, you can always email me at TraderMerlin@gmail.com. Put it down below the videos on YouTube, or just smash the like button or whatever you got to do. All right, let's talk about today because there were some wild moves out there. I was loving it, watching that S&P down almost 2% and then NASDAQ down almost 3%. Love it. Great moves. Unfortunately, I didn't buy NASDAQ puts. I'm still in my Russell and my S&P puts, which I'm happy about. But the topic du jour isn't really about the S&P or the NASDAQ. We will look at that as we progress. But this is the topic for the day. Rename the FAANG. And I tried to create a graphic here to make it a little bit of fun. Obviously, if you look at the graphics that we've got there, you can see that Google, who reported on Tuesday, was the CEO, Sundar Pichai. Pretty happy, nice smile on his face. Netflix reported last week. You got Reed Hastings. He looks like he's just really angry and frustrated. And of course, Mark Zuckerberg there in the middle, just about to shed a little bit of tear as he has the biggest loss of wealth for a publicly traded company in the history of financial markets today. Really hard to believe that is the crazy part about this. Over $200 billion lost today. Most companies work their entire career to entire life cycle to get to a $200 billion market cap, and they lost that in one day. Oh, well, I'm sure he'll be shedding a tear or two tonight. You've got Tim Cook with Apple with a nice little smile on his face with their earnings last week. And then, of course, Mr. Bezos today. Apple reported earnings after hours today and looking pretty darn good. We will start there. Let me get some charts up here for you, and we'll just go through the FAANG because if we understand the construction, the composition of indexes, obviously, we all know that the Dow Jones Industrial Average is 30 companies, and like any great football team, like the 49ers, you review who your good players are and your bad players are. So you look at your quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo, and you get rid of him and you throw him away. Well, in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, they're doing the same thing. They're getting out the underperformers and putting in something that will most likely would be a better performer, and that might be our discussion for today, which will be fully interactive because I need your input on what might be the additions. Now, if we look at the name FAANGs, obviously Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, those are the FAANG. A lot of people want to put the Microsoft in there or Tesla in there. Slow your roll. We'll get there. Let's look at those first and see what their charts look like over the past couple of weeks, or actually the past couple of years. I'm going to start off with the first one, which is the F, which is Facebook. Wah, wah. And it's funny because you guys remember yesterday I was very happy that in that after-hours session yesterday, I put a buy-to-cover order for my short at 252, and I was like, yeah, baby, got filled. And then today, holy cow. I mean, it closed at 237. You're like, Merlin, but you left another $15 on the table. I don't care. I did well on my position. I'm happy about that. Now, if you look at the chart of Amazon or of Facebook here, I'm not saying that this thing's been broken for a long time. Obviously, it's had some pretty incredible moves. We'll start with the monthly. Why not? We'll do all these from the monthly perspective and work our way up. You go back to their IPO back in 2012. Looking at $40. Now, that's, of course, I believe that is split adjusted. I don't think they opened up at 40. I thought it was like 75 or something. Either way, they're low down around 17. Of course, they hit a peak just a couple of months ago, right around 380. And ever since then, it's been trickling down. And of course, the earnings announcement that happened last night really just crushed it. Now, the question is Facebook done? This is something that I believe anybody who has Facebook in their index needs to evaluate. Now, I'm pretty sure it's not going to get booted out of the S&P or the NASDAQ, but does it need to be booted out of something like the FAANG, which is kind of a much more exclusive group of those major bellwether leaders in that tech internet space? To me, given the forecast that was given and really citing, if you guys listen to the presentation, really going after TikTok, saying TikTok was a major threat. I mean, Zuckerberg mentioned it like 5 times in the press conference, TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. And I think that's strategic as well. I believe that he was doing that to let regulators know, hey, we don't have a monopoly on social media. TikTok does. That's China. You should crack down on that. Either way, they lowered their forecast, ad revenue because of Apple and their new privacy concerns, really put a damper on Facebook. Plus, general disdain. I know a lot of people that I talk to just don't like Facebook. They'll use any other property. It's always funny when they tell me they're using Instagram because that's owned by Facebook. But, it begs the question, does it deserve to still stay there, or should it be replaced by something that's better? So we'll keep this one on the table for now, but God, it looks really ugly. If you think about where to buy this thing, yeah, sure, 155 looks good. Other than that, I don't see any weekly zones that really call out to me. Maybe on the daily they come a little bit more evident. And what am I seeing right now? Oh, actually, yeah, we talked about that gap closure, right, which is pretty much where it's at. That gap closure would be down around 130 would be an obvious place for that. But poll question. All right, let me type that one in here. Well, let's see if I can get that one just for Tom. This is for Tom. Do you? And I'll do it in our chat, so you guys don't need to worry about this. I'll put it in here. Were you ever on Facebook or Instagram, IG? All right. There you go. Yes or no? Ask the community. There we go. Never had a Facebook? Really, Chris? That surprises me. Hold on. I need to digress, because as someone who's a business owner, you should probably have a Facebook account. I mean, you own a machine shop. You should be showcasing your mechanic skills and saying, check out what we've done here. You got to have a venue to showcase your stuff. What do you use? You got to have some social media account to show your wares and boast about the amazing work that you do. At least I would, for sure. I mean, hell, I have a Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Of course, it's predominantly just for the show or anything I see market-wise, but I don't do my personal stuff on there. Let's keep that in the back burner there. All right, so let's go back to our Facebook chart here. I'm in the camp of, potentially removing Facebook. I think it's lost its status as the darling market performer. Judging by the outlook that they've given, it seems a lot weaker. And, this is something that obviously over the past couple of days has seriously dragged down that FAANG index, right? Wow, he's got nothing for Chris. I think we need to get you something, buddy. You got to have some place to showcase your wares. You're an artist, man. You're an artist. That's what you do. You're an artist with cars. You should at least promote that stuff. All right, so that's F. Let's go to the first A, Apple, which has been doing great. You've got Tim Cook at the helm. He was smiling on their earnings announcement, which happened last week. I don't know why I have these lines on here. I will just erase it just to call it a day. All in all, I think we would probably all agree that Apple deserves to stay in there. It is still one of the best performers. It is everywhere. I mean, they're on people's wrists and in their ears. So Apple probably not needing to be removed from that FAANG index. All in all, looking great. Still moving to the upside. Granted, it had a nice sell-off over the past couple months, but bounced quickly over last week. So we'll keep Apple in there. Next is going to be Amazon. Here's your Amazon, and it's not reflecting what's happening in the after hours. I'll tell you where we are in the after hours session. We are right here at 3,032. 3,234 is where we're at right now. And yeah, I saw that comment in there from Lori. So I still wish Amazon had split. I did too. I kind of felt like just get it out of the way, because now it still means to me that they're kind of keeping that up their sleeve. You know what I mean? They've kind of got it hidden up their sleeve, waiting for the time where they need to use that to help pump the share price of their stock. So it would have been great to get that out of the way today. You can see the reaction for Amazon was pretty brutal, right? It was a sympathy plea, gapped down pretty significantly with Facebook. I'll put some percentages on here so we can see what the damage was for today. When it opened up, it was down 6% on Amazon. At its low point today, we were down around 8%. That's a pretty significant jump. Now, here's where it really gets interesting. If you look at how much it's up, well, I guess I could just look at the number on the side of the screen. But how much it's up now, it's up roughly 16% in the after-hour session. A pretty nice jump, if you will, for Amazon. And it's just, for me, it kind of begs the question is this a retracement into supply because we're on a current downtrend, or is this a pullback into a longer-term demand? I don't know. I don't know. I like, as I mentioned to you guys, I order stuff on Amazon all the time. Heck, I ordered I just ordered some stuff yesterday. I'm going to order some stuff today. I mean, it seems like every other day I'm buying something from Amazon. So I have a hard time believing that this thing is going to just tank. But, I'm not a fundamentals person. So maybe this has gotten a little bit ahead of itself with regards to earnings. Although you see their earnings play today. I'll show you the earnings numbers. This was just phenomenal. Here's Amazon's earnings. They were expecting $3.85 per share. They came out at $27 per share. Now, I need to dig deeper into why that is. That is just one of the most ridiculous beats I've ever seen in my life. I mean, that was a beat of 600% on earnings. If you're an analyst and you were off that much, you're out of a job. You can't be off that much. So I'd like to see what the sources of income they were citing, because obviously supply chain disruptions are going to hurt Amazon to some extent. And this was just amazing. Is it really, Lori, just that many? That just seems like just such an ungodly amount of orders to have it boost. That $27 per share is just crazy. So yeah, that was a real eye-opener. Again, justifiable why it jumped so much as it did in the after hours. And I'll show you this on a 5-minute chart here. There it is. Ripped up and now just kind of drifting back down a little bit. What's their market cap? Well, don't know that off the top of my head, but we do have retail sites we can go pull up and find out information. I'm sure it jumped significantly today. It wasn't the 2 trillion, but I don't know if it was a high 2 trillion. Oh no, it was 1.4. I thought it was 2 trillion. $1.4 trillion market cap. Now I'm not sure if that includes the after hour session, because if it does, or if it doesn't, then we should be 15% higher than this right now. I love that, Rob. I heard Nancy Pelosi bought call options on Amazon. She probably did. I mean, come on. And we always seem to be picking, or not we, I always go after all the politicians, but you guys always seem to want to go after Pelosi. There was a list put out. See if I can find it for you guys. There was a list put out of the elected officials who made the most off of their trading accounts, and the top 3 were Republicans. Nancy Pelosi was, I think, number 4 or 5 on the list. So even though we poke fun at her a lot, there's a lot of other politicians that are like, yeah, you make fun of Nancy. I'm over here just mind my own business, getting rich off of insider trading. Yeah, would not surprise me. She's doing great. Hopefully she bought some Facebook calls as well, right? Didn't ruin it, Skilled Stockman. Didn't ruin your S&P short. I mean, if we look at where we are today, let's go to TradingView, go to my platform here. Obviously it did have a very nice pop up, but look at the S&P right now. It rallied a lot, but it's still down. It's still down based off of the sell-off from yesterday's Facebook piece. So fine, it recouped a little bit, but overall it's still down. So yeah. Nancy Pelosi, greatest trader ever. We should say insider trader, because that's a different category. So, greatest insider trader, sure. Michael McCall was number 1, $66 million trader. Wow. Yeah, it was crazy seeing that list of people that were just making tens of millions of dollars off the markets when they should be focusing on what makes this country the best it can be. All right, there's one other one, even though I'm digressing because I want to talk about the FAANG, and we were only on the Amazon. So we've done Facebook, Apple, Amazon. I think I would probably say keep Amazon in it. I think Amazon is just a reflection of the digital era. So let's keep Amazon in the FAANG. Look at Snapchat here today. Right, Snapchat blew out earnings. They're expecting 9 cents, came out at 22 cents for a beat of 144%. But it's really what happened on that announcement. Look at that chart. This makes me so happy that I got out of my short position. Just loving it. Loving the fact I got out. Of course, kicking myself that I didn't go long. Right, it would have been even better. It was funny because for the day it was down 23%. For the day, down 23%. That's this slide here. And then in the after-hour session, it's up 59%. Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, so let's get rid of that shenanigan stuff and move on to the dailies of our last couple here, and then we'll see which ones we think we should get rid of. So FAA, oh yeah. Let's talk about Reed Hastings. NFLX. So Netflix, obviously we are addicted to our television platforms, but we have so many more choices. We've got Hulu and Roku and Apple and Disney and Paramount and all these different stations above and beyond our normal, Cox cable or digital cable, DirecTV, whatever you have. Now, there's just so much more to choose from that you got to wonder if that put added pressure on Netflix. Now, we do know that they're going to be raising their prices for Netflix, which will help a little bit unless it drives people away from Netflix. Again, I don't think that they're going to be coming up with any amazing new products or services that are going to help this thing spike higher and higher and higher. So, oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Thanks, Lisa. Sometimes I'm actually just sitting here staring at the chart, but I forgot to advance it over to you guys. When I fall into my work, it's good stuff. And it looks like there's about 48 seconds. Yeah, HBO Max, another one, Chris. I'm waiting for it to click over on your side so I can see what you guys see. Man, that's a long delay. There we go. Thank you, Lisa and Lori and Katut. It's not Friday yet, Gary. I have not had one drink. Actually, I don't even know if I'll drink on Friday. I'm on a kick to be very healthy and working out every day, and now I'll still have a glass of whiskey tomorrow. So, yeah, that begs the question, what do you guys think? Should Netflix be taken out of this? And when we're done, we'll go with what you guys think should be put in. But this one, I'm kind of feeling like Netflix might need to be replaced from this index. Underperforming. Huge sell-off. Obviously, there's some buy point potential at some level. But do we see this market segment continuing exponential growth, which is really what FAANG stocks are all about? They're saying, hey, let's take advantage of the technological revolution. I don't know. To me, I'm saying next Netflix out myself. I see Tom does as well. What do you guys think? I was just curious. I mean, obviously, our impact's not going to do anything on this market, but just kind of curious what you guys think. I'll go long term here. This type of growth that we saw from Netflix was understandable in 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We were going very, very digital, going very, watching streaming media, no more Redbox or anything like that. This was all streaming became the rage back in the late, 2000s, or 2010 to 15. But to sustain that, I don't know. And I did see a comment yesterday, which is very correct, that they are doing a lot of international business as well, which that may help them open accounts. But I just see a point where you just run out of customers. You're not going to make more customers. It's like saying, oh, well, there's only 21 million Bitcoin. Great, I'll make 28 million. No, you can't. It's just you're not going to make more subscribers if there aren't more subscribers. So. All right, so what do I see? I see out, yes, replaced with MicroStrategy. NVIDIA can be your end stock. There you go. You're right. At the right point, I kind of have to agree. It's not just Tom would ask Larry. I actually think NVIDIA would probably make a good replacement for Netflix. Now, it's a different side of technology, right? Most of the stuff that we see in the FAANG stocks is forward-facing, almost social media type things. Now, Apple's not necessarily social media, neither is Amazon, but that's retail consumption. So is Apple. NVIDIA kind of straddles both, right? You do have consumer products with their video cards, et cetera, but there's a lot of commercial products that I think they can be building, and especially we start to get into AI. I would put NVIDIA on that list as a potential replacement. So let's finish. We got one more. We have the double OG, and that is Google. So you look at what Google's doing, and this is different because with Netflix, you're looking at total subscribers. With Google, you're just saying how many people are using it and how much ad revenue are you getting from that. So the question is, do we think that the ad revenue will continue on something like Google? Now, I will admit, I'm addicted to Google. I mean, I use Google every single day. If I search for anything, I'm using Google. Now, I don't click on ads. I saw that poll going back through here where Tom wanted that poll up. So what did we have for the final result? We had 23% of people say yes, they clicked on stuff, which means that 77%, is that the right number? It should pop up on your feed here in just a second. That the vast majority aren't clicking on any ads whatsoever. 77 said no, 22 said yes, they do click on Facebook or Instagram ads. I don't click on any of them myself. I don't know. If I want something, I'll go look for it. I don't let them target market me, and I actually block all, tracking devices that platforms put on me. So, probably, what do you think? Keep Google in there? I'm in the camp of keep Google. It looks good, and I still think that it is, without a doubt, the most dominant search engine. Plus, you bundle in YouTube, etc., which is probably the most addictive site on the face of the earth. We've got those four. So let's see. if I had it my way, we've got FAANG. I'm going to take out Facebook and Netflix. All right? Oh my God. Who Indigo? Do you really just say Bing? Did you really? Bing of all things? I tried using Bing. I mean, that's kind of like shaving my face with a chainsaw. I cannot use. I found Bing to be so annoying. I don't know why I hated it so much, but Bing was absolutely awful. Yeah. Anyway, different strokes for different folks, I guess. I don't know whether you're joking with me, Indigo, or you actually like. All right. So if we've got an A, and a G, what do you replace those things with? All right. What do you replace them with? Because you got to look across that ecosystem and say, here's things that would be good replacements as far as heavy growth stocks for the future. Now, I'll let you guys throw some names out there. So I see Microsoft. Okay, so let's look at Microsoft. Throw me out some names that you think in your mind are like big players that you think would see substantial growth in the future based off whatever the major growth trends are now in technology. Tesla, okay. My only concern with Tesla is it's already so high, but Lisa says, Mag, okay, so you're only going to go 4. We don't have to have 5? Okay, good, Indigo. I thought you were just joking. I was like, wow, really? Bing? Bing? When I was an e-commerce and digital marketer for Google was at least 10 times more productive than Facebook ads. People scroll on Facebook ads and so they search. Yep. I mean, I don't know the metrics behind it. I will occasionally click on Google ads. They feel more natural, right? A Google ad doesn't feel like it's in my face. Any opinion? Sure. Let me look at that one in a sec. Let's finish. So UPST. Micron. Okay, I'm curious on that one, Mimi. Why Micron? I mean, obviously there's chip and technology are great, but why Micron specifically? Because I get adding something like NVIDIA in, because NVIDIA is like cutting edge with AI, and their chips are used by pretty much any mining equipment out there for cryptocurrencies are using NVIDIA's chipsets, etc. TikTok, according to Zuckerberg, yeah, but that's not going to be publicly traded in the U.S. And one of the things that to consider is Facebook made it very clear in their press conference that that's what they're going after. Like, they're going to put a lot of money into going after TikTok. TikTok has an absolute dominant place right now. I have a couple of friends who need to go to a Betty Ford TikTok clinic because their faces don't even leave their phone. They're just like, and they send me videos all the time. Like, I don't have enough time in my day to do my normal stuff. Like, I barely had time to prep for the show today, let alone spend 2 hours flipping through TikTok. It's not going to be something that I do. But other people, sure. Interesting, Alex. BSX, huh? Boston Scientific. Okay. If you're thinking robotics, all right. Alibaba. Okay, so if I look at Alibaba, that's an interesting one. I like that you threw that one in there, Yusuf. Alibaba, I think, has great growth potential, but remember the kind of the MO of FAANG is technology, right? So you had Facebook, obviously social media king. You had Apple. You had technology with their phones, and devices, iTunes stores, podcasts, earbuds. Technology to help get everything connected. You have Amazon, which is the whole shopping online metric, which I'm a huge fan of. Netflix, which is watching TV online. You had Google, which is searching for everything online. Alibaba, it's an interesting suggestion because it's basically saying online, not labor, but a shopping network online similar to Amazon, but connecting international markets. That's interesting. I'll have to think about that one. Now, Square is an interesting one. We talked about Square yesterday, so we got a whole bunch here to add. AMD and SQ. What are some of the other ones you guys just mentioned? I wouldn't do Zillow. I don't think Zillow represents the future of kind of technology. Intel and Cisco, I feel, are kind of outdated. Cody says DWAC. Everyone's a comedian. That's the future there. DWAC. Let's go check out what old Trump's little pump and dump SPAC is doing. Let me bring up the screen for you guys. There you go. Surprise, it's at where it's at. $82 is shocking. If you can only buy leaps on this and buy some puts out for 2 years, you'll probably do okay with this one. Let's see. It's coming from China. I would choose Tencent. Yeah, I'm not going to use Chinese companies. I want them to be U.S. Obviously, I think to make it in that index, you kind of have to be based here in the U.S. So, all right, I've got a bunch here. Let's take a look at one of the. I'm going to go kind of in order, which I think would probably be the most logical run through. NVIDIA. All right, so there's NVIDIA, which at this point is down considerably off its highs, right? It was over 340. We dipped down sub 220, got down to 210. So a 30% decline for NVIDIA off the top. Now, trend-wise, this thing looks great. Been trending and trending and trending. Now, I feel like it did get a little bit overextended, but this might be a really good thing, a pullback into this area of demand right around $200. So I think NVIDIA, from a technology perspective, if we do go AI, and I am a big believer that we are going to start to see more metaverse, augmented reality, artificial reality stuff being done, and that's going to need high-end chipsets. So, maybe it's AMD, maybe it's Intel, but right now, in my mind, NVIDIA is dominating that category with regards to computing power for those chipsets and video cards. So let's look at Intel. Here's your Intel. I mean, Intel looks like a dog. It's just sideways, hasn't done anything since 2018. If you bought Intel in 2018, you're even again. Yawn fest. If you look at AMD, totally different story. AMD's been on a great uptrend, and you have that, nice pullback right in this. I'm thinking we measured this one out before. I'm not sure. We had a great pullback into demand on AMD. Long-term uptrend for sure. I would probably think, put NVIDIA and AMD kind of side by side and compare and see which one I think is more poised for the future. Not just computing, but I'm talking full-on AI, etc. Now, there's one that was just mentioned, which actually surprisingly would make it to the top of my list from Livrage. Livrage says Coinbase. Now, why would I want Coinbase in here? Because I believe that the world is going to start doing more with virtual currencies, not just Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, but with a lot of these other projects. I mean, today we spent a good hour in the Crypto Investor Live program analyzing a project that is kind of building a mesh of NFT marketplaces and the ability to create them and also connect to metaverse games. And I found that very interesting for the future. Now, what I think is going to happen is that Coinbase will be a proxy ETF for the markets. What I mean by that is they've said they're going to buy $500 million worth of digital assets. Now, I don't know how frequent that is, if it's $500 million per year. But if Coinbase, which is already the leading exchange in the United States, and I see that sector growing. With regulation, I think that the digital asset and cryptocurrency space will grow. But they're actually buying the assets now, and that industry does grow. Then I think there's a huge potential for Coinbase down the road. Now, it's well below its IPO price. I mean, you're kind of at historic lows here for Coinbase. So, at some point, Coinbase might be a logical addition. What do you guys think? How many think that I'm out of my mind and thinking Coinbase? I think the FAANG stock should represent technology of the future. And digital assets and cryptocurrency are, in fact, that. Now, I did see another request in here saying, hey, what about adding in MicroStrategy, right? And Tom said, somebody has MicroStrategy, maybe another equity in crypto. So where was the MicroStrategy comment? Got to give you props, right? Where was it? It's way back here. Oh, I can't see where the MicroStrategy comment was, but I think... There you go, NJ. I'm of an NJ. MicroStrategy would be interesting, but remember, MicroStrategy is a one-trick pony. While I appreciate that Michael Saylor, who is the CEO of MicroStrategy, is going all in on Bitcoin, he's still a one-trick pony. He's got just Bitcoin. With Coinbase, they're buying the spectrum of investments, kind of like what I'm doing with my portfolio, right? I'm building a portfolio where I have, at this point, I think I have 39. I might have just gotten a new one today. We'll see if I get executed. Call it 40 different positions, but it's representing, this one is for NFTs. These are a couple of metaverse stocks. These are smart contract blockchains or Oracle. So I'm targeting different market segments. To me, that's better than buying one cryptocurrency and hoping that one works. Now, I do agree with Michael Saylor that Bitcoin is going to, the one ring to rule them all. But there are a lot of other ones out there that might bring up new technologies. And if Coinbase is in fact buying all those, I think Coinbase might make a good replacement for the FAANG index. I know I'm crazy. I'm crazy. So I'll just throw it over here. I'm not putting a list yet. Don't throw me hate mail. Just put coin over here. It was one that I was thinking of to represent, like, how do we represent the crypto space with technology right now? There aren't any real publicly traded companies that I think would be great replacements. Like, I'm not going to put a mining company in there. Not a crypto mining company, right? So you're not going to see me like Marathon won't be in there. Riot Blockchain. I don't see the growth. I see some growth, but not exponential growth down the road. I think it's leveraged Bitcoin too. If you're talking about MicroStrategy, yes, it's heavily leveraged. It's actually kind of smart what he's doing, but it's one of those things that if Bitcoin falls out of grace or slides, MicroStrategy's done, right? It could lose everything. The great part about it is he's locked up capital. He issues debt in MicroStrategy at 6.5%, which is 10-year debt. So he has 10 years to pay you back. In 10 years, Bitcoin's going to be way higher than what he paid for it, which I think his average price is $28,000, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Crypto semiconductors, chips, robotics, renewable are my best for the decade from now. Yeah, so let's look at Tesla, because I think Tesla might be a logical input. And it's not just because of Tesla, the vehicles. Again, I think that the main value here is it's AI and energy. So if we look at the way that, the Tesla power cells or fuel cells, the charging stations, that type of thing, if we do in fact continue to grow and go more towards electric vehicles, they've got a pretty solid foothold in the business already, but it could get even stronger because of how they're doing, solar and energy collecting devices. So let's see, what are your thoughts on adding Tesla to it? So I'm one that's waving the flag saying NVIDIA and Coin would be good candidates. Tesla is an interesting one. Let me read some of your comments. I don't understand the metaverse at all. That is just a game. Well, the metaverse, we're moving into an area that I think a lot of people don't really fully understand or grasp, and that is ownership. For example, I played World of Warcraft. I admit it. I played World of Warcraft, and in that game, you find things, you collect resources, you make different items in the game, and they're your items in the game. But that's all they're good for. There is no marketplace where you can go sell those things, and most of them will do it behind a closed ecosystem where it's only amongst their community. But what if we got to a point where there were multiple games? So let's use a World of Warcraft on one and an Assassin's Creed on another, and let's say some of those they're two totally different gaming companies. But what if both of those companies plugged into the same API or NFTs, where I could make and build and construct an NFT, an axe, let's say, in World of Warcraft, and then I can go to a decentralized marketplace and sell that. Doesn't have to be in World of Warcraft, but I can sell it anywhere, and whoever gets that owns that axe. It's physical ownership of that item, and if you can use that in, let's say, Assassin's Creed or some other game, then great, you can now use those NFTs. So you've exploded the potential for items and in-game ownership of assets. I think that's what people are really excited about in the metaverse, is you have this augmented reality where you can be anybody, do anything, but now you can actually have a profession and work in those realities. So I think that's the real exciting part. Tom says nope, and he's the only one who responded. So if no one else says yes to Tesla, I got to move Tesla out. What else do I got? What was the deal with $320 million stolen in cryptocurrency? What you had was, one of the challenges that we have in the crypto space is the validity and safety of the people who are writing smart contracts. As you guys know, if you write a piece of code, any code, and it has a bug, people can exploit it, right? There was a bug, I believe it was in the Jeep Cherokee, had a bug in their, something in their electronics, which would allow people to basically they could pull up next to you with their computer, log into your Jeep, and start driving your Jeep remotely because of a bug in the code. That's what happened with this wormhole software. Basically, it's a transaction site. It's a bridge which allows you to move money from one place to another, and somebody exploited a hole in that and took out $320 million. Yep. That's what happened. Okay, let me see. I feel it could be something related to crypto, but exchanges platform? Yeah, I know. So crypto, Facebook was involved with crypto, but they just sold. They just sold their Libra program, which turned into DM. They just sold that for 130 or 180 million. Yes, correct. It's a good point. So Tom says, so I could buy a World of Warcraft melee club and take it into a club in Second Life. Could be a problem. It could be, but it changes the dynamics of the game, doesn't it? Now, obviously, when you have a weapon in one game, it has certain durability and damage points and different characteristics. But if there's the same mapping where each game kind of has the same basic configuration, you now basically create more utility for those assets. There was Jerry Seinfeld did a really funny stand-up routine. I think it was actually in the show Seinfeld, where he goes, there's one great thing about being a gay couple. If you're dating a guy who's your same size, you got twice the wardrobe. Well, think of it with those type of gaming platforms. If we can get different gaming platforms to accept different NFTs, I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right, Tom. Imagine World of Warcraft if I can take my Call of Duty, M16 machine gun with a rocket launcher on it and take that into World of Warcraft. I'm going to win a lot more in World of Warcraft, right? The damage effect. Thanks, Bobby. I appreciate that. Always great having you guys in here. And by the way, I did not give a shout out. It's my fault. I need to give a shout out to Jay Bess Entertainment. Thank you for the contribution, my friend. I do appreciate that. It came a while back. It slipped my mind because I was in the middle of a thought talk track, but there we go. Well, who knows if it's more powerful? I think it's more genuine because I'm not influenced by anybody. I've got nobody telling me what to do, when to do, or how to do it. And the only person that's concerned about my money is me. So, there's a certain humility I think comes with that as well. When I make mistakes, I'm happy to tell you. I've shown you that before. All right, let me see. There's a couple more I want to look at. So I have to say no to PayPal. Just PayPal looks broken, even though it might be a deal at some point. All right, look at PayPal's chart. I mean, this thing, it started to bounce up a little bit a couple days ago, but it's dying, man. I don't see why. PayPal, I like what they do, but not adding that one yet. If you're looking at transaction medium, Square is better positioned. And that's another way to capitalize on some of the digital asset market. So maybe Square is something that we add, I'm looking at Coin. I got Tesla. I got Square is what companies I would add, or NVIDIA. So those are the four that I see being big. Microsoft maybe as well. The problem with Microsoft, it's not a heavy growth stock. Now, anybody who's a technical analyst would look at this price chart and go, that's not a growth stock? Look how much it's moved up. It's funny because if you go back into this period here, people were like, Microsoft is a mature company. It's not going to go anywhere. And then we started to get into more of the streaming media. We started getting to cloud computing, and now Microsoft, wow, just absolutely vaulting to the upside here. So Microsoft could be an ad for me. I knew someone was going to mention this. Will Meta really expand the gamer community? It's kind of the same audience that played Dungeons and Dragons when I was in high school in the Carter area. Sure, but see what's so happened, in my opinion, I don't know if it'll expand it for one primary reason. And that primary reason is money. Now, when you were playing Dungeons and Dragons, there was no money on the line, right? You and your geeky little friends got together. I say that lovingly, Tom, because I played Dungeons and Dragons. With a name like Merlin, I played Dungeons and Dragons. Come on. But you got together with your goober little friends and brought out your Dungeons and Dragons books, had your character sheets and your 20-sided die and all that stuff. I mean, that was fun. But if you look at the future of things, you have pay-to-play gaming. Play to earn, P2E. And these are games where you can now be playing Dungeons and Dragons and earning money. So what happens is it doesn't force you, but it creates this addiction, this stickiness that makes more people stay in that specific metaverse or ecosystem in the virtual world. So that's, to me, there's the big difference, is the payment that goes in there. And you'll ask yourself, well, how is Decentraland going to make money if they're paying me to play their game? Because they're selling real estate, because they're making money off the NFTs, the articles that they're selling in that game, which people are buying with their earnings, costs money, and they make a chunk of change off every one. So, there are ETFs that you can play for this, certainly. We've actually looked at a couple of those in the past. But as far as creating a new index, right? Because to me, the FAANG is dead. I don't think there's FAANG anymore. I'm taking Facebook and Netflix out. You have an AAG, which is going to be Apple, Amazon, and Google. And now the question is, what do we put inside this one to... I am very proud to admit that I'm a nerd. I know you guys don't like Coinbase, but I think that's a way to capitalize on all of these technologies because no other company is buying as much the tokens or coins that represent the crypto industry. You have only one, and that's Michael Saylor buying Bitcoin. Other than that, no one's really gobbling up all of the whole spectrum of them. So I would put, if I had my vote, I would put Coin, which gives me a C, and I would put Nvidia in there, and maybe Square. So if I'm taking out 2, I'm gonna put in 2. So I would put in, personally, I would put in Nvidia and Coinbase. So I would remove my F and my N and put in a C and an N. So I've got my CAANG, the Kang stocks. There you go. This is what I ended up with. The Kang stock. I remember farming for items in Diablo 3 and selling them for real money in an auction house. Yep. Exactly. And I do think, so Livraj has a very good point. And again, you guys have to remember, there are 2 different ways to look at this. What Livraj is mentioning with Diablo 3, and he says Activision and Microsoft are the best position for the metaverse. Yes, in a centralized market. Because remember, Microsoft and Activision cannot give up the power. They have to keep control of that world because they're the ones that are going to make all the money. In many of these decentralized products, it's not controlled by one entity, right? It's split up. It's diversified. So there's a big difference for me in gaming in a DeFi game versus a CeFi game. CeFi is just normal. Not much will change. DeFi changes it a lot because now there's nobody who can block you, shut you out. You have much more autonomy with what you can do, and it takes away the control from one entity, which I think for me is part of the reason I love cryptocurrency. Daniel says Silvergate Capital. Yeah, I think I got to question Silvergate. So Silvergate just bought Diem, which was Libra, which is Facebook's stablecoin project. If you spent I don't know, it was 138 million or 183, something like that. Either way, if you're that stupid, and I apologize, but if you're that dumb to spend $130 million for the technology behind a stablecoin, yet I can go out in under 1 hour and create a stablecoin for $200, I've just saved you $800. I saved you that much money. I don't know why. So Silvergate was involved initially on the Libra discussions in the panel, and I think they're trying to save face and saying, hey, we want to keep the assets. There's no reason they should have paid that much money for that stablecoin. You can make a stablecoin in under an hour, piggybacking off of other technology, but just mimic it and make it your own. I mean, that's what Bitcoin Cash did. That's what Bitcoin Satoshi Vision did. That's what Bitcoin Diamond did. That's what Bitcoin Black did. That's what Litecoin did. They all copied Bitcoin. Changed it just a little bit. Chris says, say no to Tesla. Elon is kind of a loose screw. You know what? Some of the sharpest minds in the world have been loose screws. People thought that Nikola Tesla was a maniac as well, and look what Nikola did. I mean, he's one of the most unsung heroes in the history of human evolution is Nikola Tesla, with all the things that he created, and everybody stole from him. So, where's the Merlin coin? It doesn't serve any purpose, man. If I could find a utility for the Merlin coin, I would make one just for fun. But what's the utility? I'd hate to have people buy into something it really doesn't. What's backing it? What's the purpose of the Merlin coin? If you can come up with a good reason, I'll make it. I'll absolutely make it. It'd be fun to do as an experiment. But I'm not into making a scam. Like a lot of people will make their own token or scam. I mean, you want to talk about scams? You got me digressing now. But look over here, the top gainers today. Shiba Inu. It's one of the biggest scams in the marketplace, right? Oh, Gaming Shiba is up 6%. Spooky Shiba. You could call your thing Amazing Shiba or Crazy Shiba or just put in Super Doge. Just name some Doge Colony. All you gotta do, Ninja Floki. If anything with Floki, Doge, or Shiba is a scam, they are shitcoins. All right. Exactly, Chase. Yeah, I would say, I think 95 might be a little close, but I would go 90. How about a basket of other coins? Are you talking about adding that, David, to like the FAANG? The only one that I can think of that is a basket of coins would be Coinbase because they have so many different ones. Yeah, I looked at Roblox. RBLX, I don't know. I've played with it for a little bit. I'm not a real big fan. This is the weekly. Let's go to a daily. I actually expected this sell-off to happen. I really looked at what they were offering. They are not a metaverse. They're basically just an aggregation of games, and you have to pay to play their game. So look at Roblox. I actually think I downloaded the software. I got it here somewhere. Maybe I can open that one up. Let's see if I can log in real quick. Oh, it's just so I can show you guys. Oh, man. Grope Monster? What the hell was that? So you look here, and all it is just tons of crappy games. I mean, like pixelated cartoon stuff, and you have to pay to play these ones. So what they've done is they created an interesting marketplace where you can all line up and pick the games you want to play. I'm more interested in games that have much greater utility, much more immersive. These are all really cheesy, like Nintendo games from the 80s. None of them are really great. Whereas there's some other stuff coming out that should be much more interactive, etc. I don't know if those Tesla bots become reality anytime soon. Yeah, that does sound promising. But he may be a nut for what he does. Elon Musk may be a little bit of a crazy dude, but he gets stuff done. I mean, I saw an interview with Lex Friedman where he talks about the shuttle, his new rocket, and he goes, basically, what we're doing is we are creating a device that catches the largest built structure ever made for space with a pair of chopsticks. And he was laughing about it on the podcast, and then they showed a video of it. I was like, that's kind of funny. I mean, you have this giant thing where they're trying to catch it with literally a pair of like giant metallic chopsticks. And if I was to tell you that and say, hey, yeah, they're going to catch a rocket with giant chopsticks that stick off a tower, you'd be like, this guy's smoking weed? I mean, is he on mushrooms today? He's crazy. It's ridiculous. But he's doing it, and in doing that one thing, he's saving stress on the landing gear, which could save tens of thousands, if not millions of dollars over the course of the lifetime for this project. So, props to him. He may be a nut, but he gets stuff done. The whole boring company where they're boring tunnels underground. We're running out of surface. We don't have, I doubt the FAA will ever let us have flying cars. That's unfortunate because my claustrophobia probably won't let me get underground. I'm questioning putting Tesla in there. I might see if I can make up some acronyms. Maybe we can put a Tesla, C and N and a T in there so I can add Coinbase, Tesla, and NVIDIA to it. I'm going to ask some of my trader buddies at the office to see what Todd Davis and Larry Jacobson think about that, what they would replace with. But anyway, there's your show for today. I'd look for a leader in blockchain. I'd love to be able to put my vote up there online and be able to view election results without, yeah, right? Oh, I think that's one thing. I'm not an emotional person. I might shed a tear. If that finally happened, Tom, I'd be like, wow, I now feel like I can trust my election system if we have blockchain voting technology. Just please, at some point. All right, let me wrap up here since I got drifted off a little bit. It's funny because I had a question from Scott, which I just don't have time to answer because I got guests coming and I got to get here. It's this one. Can you talk about Metaverse? What is it to you? How you make money on it? I might dabble a little bit on that tomorrow. As you guys know, I don't have a guest on tomorrow's show because it's Friday. So feel free to send me comments, questions, feedback at TraderMerlin@gmail.com. Or the best thing to do is put it down below the video on YouTube. So if you have something you want to know about, type it down below the video on YouTube, and that means I'll get to it the next show. Those get priority. Now, here's what we have cooking for tomorrow. The economic data today, obviously, there was some decent stuff. Most of it was pretty in line with expectations. The only piece today that was, I guess, a bit shocking from a market perspective was the British pound announcement. There was no surprise. They came out and reported that they're raising their interest rate 25 basis points. You saw the big old spike here in it and fizzled. So that was like a nice big market pop you knew was coming. Tomorrow, for Friday's action, not a lot, but you do have some important ones for the U.S. Remember, earlier this week, we had the ADP non-farm employment change, which showed a massive decline in employment numbers. They're expecting it to drop with the non-farm employment change as well from 199 to 110. Unemployment rate, they're expecting to stay at 3.9%. And also for Canada, they're expecting a rise in their unemployment rate going forward for this next month. So anyway, those are your economic announcements, and here's your earnings stuff. No popcorn trade of the day. I think most of the popcorn trade stuff is done, but you do have all before the market opens tomorrow. Bristol Myers Squibb, Regeneron, Brookfield Renewable Partners, Royal Caribbean Cruises. I know we're all rushing to get on a cruise and spend a bunch of time with people in confined quarters already. Air Products and Chemicals also reporting earnings, and that, my friends, is your trading day for tomorrow. So, I had one other thing I was going to say. I've got a couple of orders out for some crypto, but I don't have anything for equity markets right now. We'll see if we get I doubt we'll have a big sell-off tomorrow just because of the way that Amazon's earnings is going to help out in the after-hours session. But we'll see how it pans out. I still would like to be building a bigger put position. So maybe on this next rally, this next pop-up, because we didn't get that 20-to-1 split on Amazon, maybe that might be my time to short some more. Anyway, I'll let you know how that transpires for tomorrow. Again, if you have comments, questions, feedback, let me know. TraderMerlin@gmail.com. Happy trading, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.